The Met's next live movie theater presentation comes on February 12th, and it's a fascinating work. John Adams' great opera Nixon in China chronicles a defining moment of the 20th century, Nixon's historic encounter with Mao in Beijing in 1972. I'm with the opera's composer, John Adams, as well as its original director, Peter Sellars. John, Peter, thank you and hello for coming. Nixon in China is now considered to be a 20th century masterpiece. What made the two of you decide to collaborate in this opera back in 1987?
Well, I think Nixon, first of all, Nixon and Mao, communism and capitalism really was my history, my personal history. I grew up during the 50s and 60s, and Nixon tried to draft me, and I think an opera that deals with these subjects, deals with global politics and with the American presidency, really is what Americans are interested in. And the history of the opera, the successful history of it, I think has proven that out.
All right. Now, Peter, describe the cast of historic characters and the action that takes place in the opera, please.
Well, the action is when mental walls collapse, like you suddenly recognize 1/5 of the planet. You know, that kind of amazing thing you thought it wasn't there before, and suddenly you say, oh, let's notice. So that's kind of a big thing, and what opera does is those kind of mental walls tumbling down, and the world looks different. Of course, China is now a bigger picture in our world, in our life. Everything's new. What is a more important topic? Of course, Nixon is a famous guy, Mao Zedong a famous guy, but their wives, the most amazing women whose stories are incredible. Opera tells the stories of women particularly poignantly and particularly beautifully. Henry Kissinger is still kicking around, of course. We have to deal with him. And of course, the other thing is the Chinese people. They need to express themselves. We don't often hear them on CNN, which is why John Adams wrote astounding music, eloquent, powerful, beautiful choruses that have this incredibly stirring sense of what a future might be.
This opera was the beginning of an extraordinarily productive partnership for you two. Tell us a little about your collaboration and how it's evolved over the years.
Well,
oh no, I hear a story here.
You know, most collaborations last 1 or 2 works,
Sure.
Because collaboration isn't like a negotiation. You come to the table, you've got your music, and he's got his ideas, and neither of us want to give anything up.
Yeah.
But we've managed to. We have a special chemistry.
It's a thrill.
It's
This
brought
guy's
us,
music, excuse me, that I even know him is unbelievable. When you hear this music, you say, who wrote this? The incredible thing is, I know the guy who wrote it.
And he does most of the talking, as you
Oh,
know.
mutual admiration going on here, I see this. John, did you have any specific musical influences when you were composing Nixon in China? And tell us a little bit about the score.
Well, of course, I love the operatic repertoire, and particularly Wagner, but when I asked myself what kind of music would typify Richard Nixon, it seemed that, sort of white, big band swing music from the 30s and 40s, which is the kind of music that my father played, would be appropriate. That Glenn Miller sound was really Richard Nixon speaking. So there are 4 saxophones in the pit orchestra, and at times they do sound like a swing band.
Yeah.
And then Mao is a combination of Wagner, Heldon Tenor, and Jerry Lee Lewis. So the whole thing is just stomping. I mean, that's what's so cool about it.
Nixon in China was your very first opera. What does it mean to you to see it being presented here at the Met for the very first time?
Oh, it's a thrill. It's been 24, almost 25 years since we made the opera. And the quality here at the Met, the way people work to get it right, and then, of course, the fantastic audiences of the Met and the telecast. One composer couldn't ask for anything greater.
Well, toi toi to both
Thank
of
you
you,
so much.
and thank you so much for chatting with us today.